Right, we're back. It's OldSKoolFool, and I'm here now with Capcom's Chris Kramer. Chris Kramer, how you doing today?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent, and the reason I'm here talking to Chris is because we're going to find out about the coveted Resident Evil 5. A lot of big fans out there. It's a really big franchise. Obviously, if you guys have seen the movie, played the games, it's a big series, and today we're going to talk to Chris about it. Chris, what exactly is your job here at Capcom?
I run communications and community, so essentially I talk to people.
He talks to people about Resident Evil 5. And pretty much what exactly is Resident Evil 5?
Resident Evil 5 is kind of continuing along in the same vein of Resident Evil 4, but it actually is taking a whole lot of story elements from the entire Resident Evil series and kind of tying them together neatly. There's going to be a lot of stuff that comes together in RE5 that longtime fans of the series are going to be really excited about. There's going to be a lot of kind of like history and details that are kind of tied together very nicely in RE5, but it's a great jumping on point for people who've never played a Resident Evil series. So, Chris Redfield is back. He's the original character from the first Resident Evil. He's newly buffed and working with a new agency. So,
Well, we're going to see other people return like Barry and maybe like Jill Valentine?
I believe Barry was killed by the Tyrant, or
Supposedly.
the end of Resident Evil. Jill Valentine, if you've seen the trailers, one of the recent trailers and the print ads in Japan right now show Chris Redfield actually kneeling at Jill's grave. So.
Yeah, but it's a Resident Evil world. People regenerate, things come back as different things. No one really dies. They just become something else.
It's true. How many times have we fought Wesker at this point? I've lost track.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy.
He's back, and you will see Wesker several times in RE5.
Now, in regards to Resident Evil 5 on the platforms, obviously it's a next-gen PS3, Xbox 360, right?
Yes.
Any other plans for any other platforms?
Right now, we've got everything rolling with 360 and PS3, so we're big on what's happening with Live, and of course the PlayStation Network. Resident Evil 5 has been designed from the ground up as a co-op game, so really, we've got the experience going. It's designed for two people to be playing together, so it's got to be good on Live and PlayStation Network for people to get in there and enjoy the experience. It's the first Resident Evil game where two people are playing together. It's not
Required, though.
It's not, well, it's actually Resident Evil 5 is always a co-op game. If you don't have a buddy with you, either sitting on your couch playing split screen on a single system or hooking up with somebody across the internet through Live or PlayStation Network, your console is actually going to be running AI on your partner Sheva. So you will never be alone in Resident Evil 5, whether you're playing with a buddy or whether your system is helping you out.
Now, that's a good question. You just talked about multiplayer online gameplay. Now, the question I had is in regards to online gameplay, are we going to see any type of deathmatch type stuff, versus mode, switching up to maybe being the zombie, like an outbreak where you can actually be the zombie and attack and stuff? 'Cause I love zombies, I really do.
Yeah, that's a cool idea. Outbreak was really awesome. It was neat with the way, as your team would slowly get taken out, they'd actually be coming back as zombies and coming after you. So, right now it's, we're all about the co-op experience with RE5 because that's what's driving the kind of idea of the game is that for the first time, you're not facing the fear alone. For the first time, you're not constantly on the run. You're constantly outmanned and outgunned. You actually have somebody who's got your back.
But you have one of the two characters, which is Chris, and then you said it's pronounced Sheva, right?
Sheva Alomar. She and Chris both work for an organization called the BSAA, which is essentially a bioterrorism task force. What's happened is at the end of Resident Evil 3 and with Resident Evil 4, Umbrella as a corporation has been smashed, destroyed. Umbrella is no more. But what's happened is all their kind of evil science has gotten out in the world, and so people are actually building bioterror weapons based on Umbrella science.
So almost like almost kind of like a survival of the fittest type thing?
Well, it's more like people are, think of it as the anarchist cookbook, but, now you've got the ultimate anarchists, the Umbrella organization with a lot of their science out there in the world. So people are actually, picking up some of Umbrella science and using it for really bad purposes. So Chris works for the BSAA, so he's, running around the planet smashing the stuff where he can find it. So he comes, he's tracing back the progenitor virus, which is the original virus that the Umbrella scientists used to create the T virus, the zombie outbreak virus from the original Resident Evil. So Chris has come to this town called Kajuju in West Africa, and he hooks up with Sheva Alomar, who is a West African specialist for the BSAA. So the two of them have come to this small town to kind of track the roots of the virus, and while they're there, things go bad.
Now, what about the DLC content in general? Are we going to see some extra characters appear eventually, or special stages, add-ons, stuff like that?
We haven't really talked about DLC at this point. We're still
really everybody's always asked. That's the first question that pops into a lot of gamers' heads. Is like, we get in this game, but can it be upgraded? Can we get obviously more gameplay value out of it? I'm gonna most of the time, I'd imagine you would say yes, because
let's put it like this: the co-producer on Resident Evil 5 is Jun Takeuchi, and Takeuchi-san was the director on Lost Planet, and Lost Planet was the first Capcom game that had downloadable content in it.
Now, in my hand, I'm actually holding. This is a Resident Evil 5 case.
Yeah. So this is the tin. This is we're giving people a little sneak preview. If you buy the collector's edition of the game, this is what the game itself is actually going to come in. It's really nice. It's got the RE5 logo there. It's got the Kajuju scribble, which will make sense to people if they're checking out the Resident Evil viral site and watching the Resident Evil 5 viral videos and seeing what's happened to Chris after returning from Africa. It's pretty intense. And then it's got some great artwork from the game. And
in regards to what's contained in the collector's edition, you can't really tell me too much.
We're just hinting and teasing. Hinting and teasing.
You know what? I was looking at it, but you can definitely guarantee there's going to be multiple discs here. So definitely, I guess we're going to look forward to that. Usually collectible stuff is really awesome. I mean, if you're a Resident Evil fan, you have to collect stuff.
Yeah, we're actually working on some cool stuff. We haven't nailed it all down yet, but I'm a big Resident Evil fan. It's one of the reasons I love working at the company. I love the game. I actually
survival horror.
Dude, I finished RE5 back in October, so it's like I've played through it already once. And when I played through it, I was skipping all the cutscenes because I didn't want to ruin the story. So when we get the final version out, I'm going to throw it on my Xbox so I can get all my achievements on my personal gamer tag, and so I can get the whole story once it ships.
I mean, the Resident Evil series has always been like a survival horror, like shocking, like just groundbreaking in every way from gameplay to graphics. So I imagine it's going to be no different then.
Yeah, RE5 is really kind of building upon the changes that came with RE4. So the action has picked up dramatically, and it's fast, and there's a lot happening. It's very hard to stop and take a breath. There's way too much going on.
And tonight, supposedly there's a party going down. We could actually play Resident Evil 5.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. We're here at Planet Hollywood in Las Vegas, and what we're doing is we're actually shooting Resident Evil 5 on the two towers of the Planet Hollywood Casino. Wow. We're actually shooting it 7 stories tall, so it's pretty awesome.
So is it going to be like a super Godzilla style Chris Redfield taking care of business?
We're just showing people that Resident Evil 5 is the hugest game of the year.
And speaking of hugest game of the year, when is the expected release date?
Oh, there's no expected release date. It's on March 13th, 2009, Friday the 13th.
All right, Chris, sounds good. I guess we're going to check out the party later on tonight, play Chris Redfield on Stories High, and thank you so much for giving us the insight on one of the best survival horror games of all time.
All right, thanks, man. We'll see you tonight.
Thank you. Right, welcome back. OldSKoolFool here, and right now we're at Planet Hollywood here on the terrace in the pool area where the Resident Evil 5 party has just begun. As you can see, we are pretty crazy at this. Lots of party action going on. And as you can see here, we're actually playing Resident Evil 5 on the building. Take a look right there. Resident Evil 5 projected on a building 7 stories high. Now, I don't know how many times you guys get to check it out, but right now I am totally wowed by how crazy this game is. It's going to be the most intense game of 2009. I'm going to be stepping up in 2 seconds to play this game. I don't know. I'm probably going to suck and die, but there's a verse mode right now, cooperative mode here on Planet Hollywood. Well, outside it's a little cold, but we're going to warm up to some hot, hardcore action. Can I get friendly fire? Where is the syndicate? Crazy serious. How do I run?
That's right. It's pretty much Resident Evil 4 controls on the GameCube.